Hey, this is Adam. Welcome to Tomo Digital. Today, I want to talk about some things that can help you get a nice jump start on your next video editing project, and that's using a project file template. Now, what is that exactly? It's just a file or a folder that I like to keep on hand on my desktop somewhere where I can just copy and paste it every time a new video project's coming up, rename it, and everything's just kind of already organized the way I like it. And there's already immediately a home for your saves and for your footage. So I kind of wanted to show you guys how I've been kind of organizing my stuff, and hopefully you can take some of these tips and tricks and use it in your next project as well. So let's go ahead and dive into that. So let's go ahead and take a look at a project template that I generally use. Drag this here. Let's open this up. And right off the bat, you can see that we have some pretty straightforward named files here, as well as them being numerically ordered. In file search, it prioritizes numerical before alphabetical order, and the reason I number them is it takes a little less mental effort to find what folder you want to access, because they will be in the same spot all the time, and you can intuitively find the correct folder a little bit more easily. I tend to order them by how often I use those files. For me, I place my project files on top because that's what I use most. Now you might be thinking, why would that be a big deal? It's not in the greater scheme of things, but just like keyboard shortcuts or having an efficient workflow, it all adds up. It can really help save a lot of time and mental fatigue, and that goes a long way when working on a lot of projects and working on complex videos. So continuing on, first I have a folder for project files right here. This will be the home for our saves for applications like Premiere Pro, DaVinci Resolve, Final Cut, or whatever editing software you prefer. And I like to have separate folders for whatever applications I usually use. For instance, I have After Effects, Photoshop, and Illustrator already set up here for myself. Also, taking a closer look, another great thing to have is a folder to throw older saves in. For me, I have a folder named Old right here. This is where I can throw in past renditions or versions of my save files, and this is just very handy. They can act as checkpoints in the case we change our mind on something, or as a failsafe in the unfortunate case there's some file corruption. Overall, it just helps us not have to start all over if something were to happen, and this is even more secure with the autosave feature enabled. Alright, let's head back to our main folder, and going into media assets, this is going to be our home for footage and other elements you're going to be using to actually edit with. As you can see, I have subfolders for different kinds of media, for things like video, graphics, music, and sound effects. You can even get more precise with these. I tend to like to subcategorize what the source of the video is from to be even more organized. For example, in footage, I like to have folders labeled Camera A, and Camera B if I had a multicam setup, or maybe if you have a project that had multiple days of shooting, you may want to create folders labeled specifying what days they were recorded on. But you can probably figure out the best way to organize these depending on the scope of your project. Alright, so let's head back to our main folder again, and let's talk about exports. This is the home for our finalized videos. As you can see, I have folders labeled for the platform they are meant to be uploaded to. Every platform has different preferred codecs, file types, and aspect ratios, so this kind of helps sort out where the videos are meant to be uploaded to. On top of that, I would also suggest never naming your videos as final or the finished version. Not everything works out as planned. Whether it's through quality check, maybe a client has feedback and needs some rework done, or maybe you're not satisfied with the edit after looking at it again, I'd suggest naming the video by its project name, then include a dash or an underscore next to it, and then label it whatever version it is, like V1 for version 1. And just like the project files, you want to throw the older versions in this old folder for storage and help keep the main folder as clean as possible. Doing this will make things much less confusing, especially if you're collaborating with others and they can tell which is the latest version much more easily. Alright, and moving on to Documents folder, let's head back to here. This is the home for any pre-production planning for the project. Maybe you have some scripts or a storyboard. Maybe you're working with a client and have some notes or feedback. It's just good to have so you can easily reference these kind of documents. So that's generally how I go about organizing my project folder, but I also want to share another tip that can be a big help when getting a jumpstart in your video editing, and that's to have a project file already ready to go. So I'm going to really quick just hop into my Premiere Pro folder here. And let's hop into my Premiere Pro template. Again, this can be done with your preferred editing software. It doesn't have to be Premiere Pro. So just like I did with my project folder, I already have a home for all my footage and elements, and now I can quickly import or drag my footage into my project and save a lot of time without having to do much setup at all. Of course, you can always add more folders or bins to better fit your project. The idea of the template is to have a general setup that fits your workflow and gets you editing faster. Now, building all this is pretty easy, but the goal is to be efficient and save time, so we're going to be smart about this. Let's say I have a new video I want to work on, and maybe I want to make a video for my best gaming highlights of the year. I'm just going to copy and paste this folder here. And there we go. Call this Adam's Gaming Highlights 2020. All right, there we go. So with all this already set up, you can already go ahead and get your project started right away and get to editing much more quickly. And there's a spot and a home for all your media and your video. Also, to save you guys even more time, you can download my project template from the link in the description below. And of course, you can customize it to closer fit your project needs. Alright, so that's all I have to say about this. I hope they can make a difference in your editing workflow. If you found any of this helpful, please give this video a like and maybe share it with your other video creator buddies who could find this valuable. And if you don't want to miss any of our creative content like our short films or cosplay cinematics, or want to see more tips and tutorials like these, consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, let me know in the comments if there's anything you would like me to cover in future videos. Anyways, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video.